Scott, thank you for joining us. After the draw with the league leaders at the weekend, we're off to Shrewsbury. What are your thoughts into that one?
Another game, that we're ready to play in. We're looking forward to it. I think the biggest challenge for us at the moment is, or certainly this week, is to replicate what we did last Saturday. We played the league leaders at home and we played extremely well. We have to take a lot of encouragement from that game and use that for this game. But we've got to make sure that we transfer what we did against Walsall at home in a game where we're playing Shrewsbury away. We have to replicate that. It's so important that we have the same mindset, the same attitude, the same want, will, and determination to dominate and to create and to try and win this time. So yeah, a game we're looking forward to, and the focus has been pretty much on how well we was in the last game against the team who were top of the league, and how dominant we looked and how good we looked, and we have to use that to carry us forward now, and hopefully we see something similar on Saturday.
Yeah, naturally very frustrating, obviously very raw straight after the game on Saturday, and normal to feel disappointed not to pick up 3 points having played like that, but this place must be oozing with confidence, having looked back at the tapes after the weekend.
Yeah, well, you've been here today that yourself, you can see the meeting, the feeling around the place, the lads, the way they are. We're miles off being a bottom of the table team, miles off it in terms of attitude, in terms of how we're playing. We showed them some stats today, some season stats, and we're kind of in the top 3 or 4 for pretty much all really good metrics. So we just got to continue, and you can't, if your stats and your data is good, eventually it's going to turn, and we just got to make sure that we get it over the line and win a game of football. That's the important thing. It's all right having all the stats if we're not gonna come away as winners, and that's the main thing. That's why we're in it. And I think that we're doing everything right. I think we're doing a lot right. I think we're playing well. Like I said, the feeling around the place is really good. We just got to make sure that we turn that into results now.
Yeah, Shrewsbury themselves had a good result last weekend. What is it that you've noticed about them as you've been sort of reviewing their tapes?
Yeah, they did have a good result. I watched the game in length this week, and they had kind of real experience on the pitch. Some really good players. Play a back three. We've certainly two that I know, Boyle and Stubbs, who are very experienced players. Sam Clucas is the left wing back, who obviously went on and had a really good career. I had Sam as a youngster when he come out of Lincoln. He went on and had a brilliant career and still obviously playing, and very good player. So got some good experience in their team. But they've also got kind of like an aggressive way where they'll have real pressing triggers. They won't jump in moments, but if there's a backward pass, they'll jump and press really well. And I felt that they did that really well on Saturday, and they actually captured Cambridge when Cambridge were trying to play a little bit from deep, and they captured them really well and scored certainly their first goal from that. So been quite impressed with them, and they're another team that come down from League One last season and probably had a slow start to this season, but I'm sure with the experienced manager in Michael Appleton, he'll eventually get it going, which obviously they had a positive result last weekend, and hopefully we can edge them on Saturday and come out as victorious ourselves. So, we're confident. We're in a good place at the moment. We know it's a tough place to go, and like I say, they've got good experience in their team, and hopefully we have enough to get the 3 points.
Yeah, some questions from Mark Dunford at the Crawley Observer. You said you were courageous with your selection last week. Because it worked so well, is that something you would continue to do, or will it sort of depend on who you're playing and who you've got available?
Yeah, I think it's horses for courses. I think sometimes you have to change it up. You have to... I felt that playing with two forwards and McCurdy kind of, you could call it a number 10 position, whatever you want to call it, just slightly off, was the right thing to do against a Walsall. I think it was courageous, but in my opinion, it worked. We just didn't see it over the line in moments, but I thought it worked in a whole. I thought it was good. But it's horses for courses. We may have to do something different against Shrewsbury based on what they do. So that's coaching, that's management, that's kind of like down to me and my staff to make sure that we pick the right tactics, right team. And hopefully that'll be enough to win the game.
Yeah, the fans will bill this naturally as a big game, given where the teams are on the table. It's not one that you approach any differently, is it? It's just the next game in front of you and the one that you want to win.
It's the most important. It's the most important simply because it's the next one. Makes no odds to me where they are in the table and where we are in the table. We try and win every game. You know, it doesn't matter whether we're home or away. We always attack the games to win, and there's no more pressure on us or on me than there is every week. You know, we want to win. We put pressure on ourselves to win. We're professionals, and this is our job. We want to win every time we go on the pitch. You know, some might look at it as a 6-pointer. I'm not sure it's a 6-pointer at this time of the season. Maybe if it was March, April time, maybe it is, but I don't know. I think maybe it might be too early to call it a 6-pointer. Kind of get why people do say that, but we're just trying to prepare the team to win a game of football, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, there's a varying sort of level of ages of coaches across the league. Obviously, last week Matt Sadler was one of the youngest ones, and this week we come up against a really experienced manager in Michael Appleton. The question is, how much do you enjoy coming up against those experienced coaches like Michael?
Oh yeah, immensely. I think that you can learn so much by watching the teams play, whether they're a young coach or or a really experienced one. I think it's always good to kind of try and work a way out of having your team to come out on top. And yeah, I think that it's always good to stand, shoulder to shoulder against some of these guys who have been in it far longer than I have and managed far many more games than I have. And I always enjoy having a bottle of beer after a game and talking to all these managers. I think that it's a tough industry that we find ourselves in, and we're in it together a little bit. I know we're against each other, but we are in it together, and I respect every manager that's out there because I know because I'm in it. It's a very, very tough job, and everyone's an expert, right? And no matter what team you pick, there's going to be someone doesn't disagree with you, and no matter what subs you put on at what time, someone's going to disagree with you. So it's a tough job, and it's an industry that there's only 92 of us in the country, so I respect every one of them.
Yeah, Geraldo Badrami missed out last week. Was that due to injury, and how close are we to seeing the likes of Harvey, Danny and Addy back on the pitch?
Yeah, it's a good question. So, yeah, it was an injury with Badgie. He had a slight calf strain. He's trained this week, so he could be included in the squad. Harvey's still got a few boxes to tick, I believe, before we deem him fit. And Danny Cashman trained Tuesday, trained today. He could be in contention to be in the squad as well. And Addy's still probably a number of weeks away.
Perfect. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.